We never get to spend all that much time on muscle anatomy. It goes pretty quickly, but I think this is really cool because we've talked so much about muscles and I've used the names. If you've done anything with weightlifting or fitness, you've heard these names go by too. And now I'm looking at, with you guys, some of the major muscles of the body throughout this week. The first picture I have here with major muscles of the body, it is from a surfing website, but it's a really nice list of some of the major muscles and some of the ones that produce major movements in our bodies, and a lot that you've heard of. The biceps brachii, triceps brachii. You'll see rectus femoris, vastus lateralis, those are parts of your quads. Deltoid and traps and lats, your abs. If you look at these pictures, and this is nice, we'll be looking at a lot of these as we go. So this is a nice study page also. You're going to be getting smaller diagrams too. And next week you'll be taking a quiz looking up close at the muscles of the face and head and 3 different views of the body, identifying some muscles on those. What you'll see is a lot of the muscles in this picture are labeled individually. Again, this is a really nice look at these. Also, it's not labeled in here, but some of the muscles there are divided into groups. 3 groups you'll hear commonly are the gluteal group, the quadriceps, and the hamstrings. These are big motion producers in your lower body. I say gluteus, a lot of you go, butt. The gluteal group is your butt. It's the buttocks, which, like I said, I was horrified. It's not with an X, it's CKS. The gluteal group is the muscles of the buttocks. There are actually 3. Gluteus maximus is the big one, and every once in a while people will giggle specifically at that one when they say butt. But you also have a minimus and medius, which are above and out to the side. These all work together to extend your leg. If you think about it, if you've overdone it and your butt muscles are sore, going up the stairs is one, or that start of sitting down as you straighten and resist gravity. So your gluteal group, 3 different muscles, all named gluteus and serving a specific purpose, the same purpose. Quad, 4. Quadriceps, 4 muscles of your anterior thigh, 4 on the front of your leg. You have your rectus femoris. Rectus is not rectum. Don't think about that. Rectus are fibers in your muscle going top to bottom, and we'll look at that with your rectus abdominis, which is your 6-pack muscles in your stomach. You have your rectus femoris and 3 vastus muscles for a total of 4 for your quadriceps. Hamstrings are 3 muscles. We'll look at those again later also with your biceps femoris. You got one in your leg too. Semitendinosus and semimembranosus. Fun fact on those, it's the hamstrings because back in the day when people would butcher pigs so that the blood would drain, cut this end, lift this end. You string your ham by the back of the leg. So your hamstrings were what you hung your dead pigs by while you waited to butcher them. If you've ever been at a butcher shop or seen that, like you hang your deer in the tree, it works. We always had dead, bloody things sort of lurking around when I worked at the Shop and Save Butcher shop because you have to drain the blood, and these are strong muscles and they're cord-like, so they were perfect for dangling Piggy from while he waited to be bacon. We're moving on today. We're going to get started on the actual muscle groups with specified areas, and we're starting with the cranial and facial muscles. And there's a really nice picture there showing some of them. I have a few underlined, and again, those are the ones, I think all of them are underlined. Those will be the ones we're looking at on your exam. The picture is a different view, but that's a similar picture to what you would need to identify. First muscle is your epicranius. Epi means goes over or above. You'll also see this called the occipitalis and the frontalis, or any combination of those two. If you find the bones, frontal and occipital, your epicranius is like a little helmet made of muscle, and you have an aponeurosis in the middle. It goes over top of your skull, which is pretty cool. And one of your main actions, moving your eyebrows. Yeah, can you smell what the rock is cooking? It's that motion of an eyebrow. You actually have a muscle that goes the whole way over the top of your head. And remember, we talked about aponeuroses being really practical where you can't fit a tendon. Definitely where you can't fit a tendon. Orbicularis oculi. When you see the word orbicularis, it's a sphincter. Again, it doesn't necessarily mean butt. One year I wrote sphincter does not equal butthole on my board. A sphincter is a circular muscle. Yes, anal sphincter is not a lie. There's one down there. There are also 3 sphincters on your face, one on each eye and one around your mouth. Ocular is eye. You look through the ocular lens of a microscope. The orbicularis oculi goes around your eyes. The action is to close your eyes tightly, not the nice blink, 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 blink. The someone is going to throw a bucket of water in my face and I don't want to lose my contacts. Or the there's too much chlorine in that pool when you close your eyes tightly. Orbicularis oris, dentists promote good oral health. Oris is mouth. Be very careful. These are 2 that are commonly switched because people look at orbicularis, O, and don't read the rest of the second word. Orbicularis oris goes around the mouth, and much like the orbicularis oculi, it doesn't just close my mouth. My mouth is opening and closing right now as I talk to you. It's the baby's not eating the peas, close the mouth. The dog's not taking the medicine. Closes the lips tightly. Masseter is a big one. The masseter is in literal and figurative. It's the main muscle of biting down. Your masseter goes from here to here, zygomatic, your cheekbone to your lower jaw, and it closes your mouth tightly. This is the muscle that gives pit bulls and Rottweilers those big dog square heads. Athena doesn't look like a pit bull certain ways you look at her, but when she looks at you straight on and you see how square the masseter is, you can see, as I always tell her, you got a pit bull head. Masseter is this, the sides. Buccinator is pretty cool. Buccinator is within your cheeks. It goes front to back. The masseter goes sort of diagonally, but the buccinator goes front and back. I think it's a great name, first of all. It forces air out, like you're blowing out candles. It pushes your cheeks in. This is the one when I played clarinet. I never knew you could have a cramp in this muscle. But if you've ever played the clarinet, you get a reed underneath in this little domed kind of mouthpiece, and you put it in your mouth and you go on it. Now, I had played trombone and trumpet and tuba before then. Good. But that clarinet made me go and I would get cramps in my buccinator right here from trying to pull in and play. I was awful. Buccinator is also pretty cool because it's what stops food from escaping up into here when you eat. Oatmeal. Always have oatmeal for breakfast, and I always find those oats up, and I'm like, what is this? That's an oat. It sneaks in even with the help of the buccinator, but with the buccinator holding food more in the mouth where you chew, it really helps you with eating rather than having that food floating somewhere up by your nose on the side. Temporalis is another muscle of chewing. It goes, though, from your temporal to your jaw. It starts very high. If I wanted you to identify the temporalis on a diagram, I would probably label the part here on the side of your head. It's even more at an angle than the masseter. Together, those make up your bite. And animals with the strong masseter have strong temporalis, too. If you think about chewing, if I just chew my food like this, I'm not going to get very far. If you're working on, like, some of my mother's cooking from back in the day, a little chewy, if you're thinking that, you're going to think that you're not just going like this on your food. You need to work food at different angles, and the different muscles let you do that. So that's pretty cool. Next two end up being muscles of emotion. Your zygomaticus goes from your zygomatic, and this is pretty cool. It actually attaches at the orbicularis oris. It attaches from your cheekbone to the muscle that goes around your lips. And when your zygomaticus contracts, it pulls up the corners of your mouth. It makes you smile. It tugs upward on the orbicularis oris and creates a smile. The platysma is the opposite. I look at this and I see platypus. Platy means flat. And that's one of the biggest things about the platypus. He's pretty flat, with his flat little tail and his funny flat little nose and his flat little feet. Platysma is a flat sheet of muscle that goes from the inferior part of your mandible, under your jaw, down to your chest. It pulls down your mandible, opens your mouth, and is one of the muscles that makes you frown. Pulls down the corner of your mouth. It attaches under here. This one's kind of cool. The SCM, sternocleidomastoid. If I asked you where that attached, you'd look and go, okay, sternum. I'm good with sternum. Those other words are kind of funny. We did do mastoid. The mastoid process is behind your ear. So I'm already connecting the middle of my chest to behind my ear. Cleido is another way to say clavicle. So my 3 points of attachment, and this is crazy, sternum in my central chest, behind my ear at the mastoid process, and my collarbone. I can see what it does if I put my fingers there and kind of contract along those lines. It rotates my head to the side, and it flexes my neck. This is one of the muscles that if you pull it and try to drive, this is where you're like, oh no, I can't see out my window. And you have to sort of like turn to see if anyone's coming. Right here, sternocleidomastoid. It's a long strap that you'll see on the side of the neck. There are also 3 muscles on the back of your neck there, showing you 2 on each side with your splenius capitis and your semispinalis capitis. We won't be talking about those in a test, but I just wanted you to see that the names of those are going to be these. Also terrible to look out the window if they're pulled. Those are muscles that are affected by whiplash often. And they're all capitis because they all connect cervical and thoracic vertebrae to your head. And capit is head. Look over these muscles. There's a lot of information in today's lecture, and the quiz is 20 points. Here's a picture. What is it? Use your word bank. Not too bad, but a lot of information today. Today is the fullest information day, I think, because we looked at the intro plus a lot of small muscles of the face. I'd recommend Googling muscles of the face, seeing some different views on the diagram, and taking a little bit of time to look. If I find any, I'll let you know, but keep your eyes open. Share them with each other, and check out those muscles of the face review. Mini quiz on that tomorrow.